If you're looking for new sapphic books to read, you're in the right place. Today I'm sharing 15 sapphic books coming out in August from several genres such as romance, horror, literary fiction, romantasy, historical fiction, and more. Every book on this list is being marketed as an adult read, and as a lesbian with an ever-growing sapphic bookshelf myself, there are several books on this list that I cannot wait to read. And the best part about all of this is that if you find a book you like, you won't have to wait months on end for it to come out. So the first book on our list is I Kissed Her First, a romance story between an aspiring chef and a world-famous pop star. Riley is an aspiring chef who finds herself with a new job as a private chef for a European music tour. She thinks this could finally be the opportunity to pursue her dreams. The only problem is that the artist she'll be cooking for is Luna Leia, the world-famous pop star Riley and her sister have loved for years. As the two spend more time together, their friendship begins to turn into something deeper. But Luna's career, public image, and the expectations surrounding her fame create challenges neither of them expected. Also, did I mention Luna is already dating a heartthrob named Hudson, who was helping her reach her music goals with the hit single they have together? So yeah, sounds like this will be messy in the best way possible. So if you enjoy celebrity romances and watching two people figure out whether their connection can survive the spotlight, this one sounds like such a fun read. But if you're looking for a romance that focuses more on what happens after the happily ever after, this next book might be for you. The Marriage Rebound is a sports romance featuring Courtney, a WNBA star, and her wife Sasha. Courtney is always busy and away from home a lot being a WNBA star, and Sasha lately is feeling underappreciated and lonely. So the two of them have reached a point where the love is still there, but so are the frustrations and hurt feelings. But when an injury forces Courtney to spend more time at home, they finally have the chance to confront the problems they've been avoiding and figure out whether their marriage can survive. But will the love between them be enough? Now, our next book has some romance as well, but with a twist. She Haunts Me Still is a dark academia horror romance where Mallory Webb arrives at a university built from an old sanitarium, hoping for a fresh start. But things quickly become complicated when the supernatural force connected to her mother's death returns. With only clues from an old notebook, Mallory begins searching for answers about her family's past and the dark history surrounding the school. Along the way, she forms unexpected connections with Ezra, the director of the school's production of Romeo and Juliet, and Saskia, another student whose past seems connected to her own. As they uncover the truth behind an ancient vampire curse, they discover their lives may be tied together in ways they never imagined. If you like gothic settings, theater, and love triangles, this book is for you. But if you're more into historical fiction, then you'll enjoy Meet Me in the Garden, which is set in 1944 New Orleans, and the story follows Odette, one of the Honoré sisters. While her older sisters are happy being wives and mothers, Odette has always wanted something different. She dreams of becoming an artist and is secretly in love with another woman. And the only person she feels comfortable sharing her dreams and secrets with is her cousin Delphine, who has a secret relationship of her own. Together, the two escape to a hidden garden where they imagine lives filled with freedom and possibility. But 5 years later, Odette's life looks nothing like she imagined. She's now a widowed mother living in Los Angeles, and when Delphine reaches a breaking point, Odette is faced with a stressful decision that could change the course of their family forever. Moving on to our fifth book, we have a mix of romance and fantasy with Homeward for a Spell, a sapphic romance featuring a femme and a butch. And this cover is very much giving me fall vibes, so it'd be perfect for a late August read. But it's about Sage, who has spent her life working as a ranger and moving from one adventuring party to another, but she's never had the chance to lead a team of her own. So when she's offered the opportunity to assemble a crew and search for a rare magical artifact, it feels like the chance she's been waiting for, even if the journey ahead is far more dangerous than she expected. Meanwhile, Arafi has always dreamed of pursuing music, despite her powerful family's expectations. With an arranged marriage to a man who she does not love looming over her future, she jumps at the chance to join Sage's adventuring party, hoping for one last opportunity to chase the life she's always wanted before returning home. As the group battles monsters, treks through dangerous landscapes, and learns to work together, Sage and Arafi grow closer, and the chemistry between them grows as well, leaving Arafi feeling like she finally has a home. Now, if you prefer your books to have real-world problems without a side of fantasy, let me introduce Unprecedented Times, a literary fiction novel. This story is a Gen Z-coded coming-of-age that follows Rishi, a college freshman arriving at Stanford with a very specific idea of who she wants to become. She plans to leave behind the expectations of her Indian American upbringing, embrace her queer identity, explore love, and eventually turn those experiences into her writing. During her first semester, Rishi forms new friendships, falls in love with her situationship, experiences her first major heartbreak, gets a new tattoo, and begins navigating the complicated relationships that come with early adulthood. But then COVID hits, and the pandemic changed, well, everything. And the life she thought she was creating starts to shift. She ends up joining a farm collective and finds herself struggling with America's political situation. And as friendships become strained and the future feels uncertain, Rishi begins questioning the way she understands herself and the stories she tells about her own life. I mean, these are unprecedented times after all. If you enjoy character-driven stories about identity, friendship, messy relationships, and figuring yourself out, this sounds like it's for you. But maybe after hearing all this, you're like, actually, I think I want a lighter read. Then you'll enjoy Books, Iced Coffee, and A Side of Dragons. It's a cozy romantic graphic novel featuring a sweet sapphic romance. So Lucy owns a bookstore inside an abandoned lighthouse on the Jersey Shore, and the only thing missing from her otherwise perfect life is getting the attention of Aster, the trans woman she's been crushing on, who runs the coffee shop next door. After the two rescue a dragon named Dandelion, they begin spending more time together, and their friendship slowly starts turning into something more. Between the cozy bookstore, the coffee shop, dragons, and a romance, this one just sounds like the perfect comfort read. But y'all, this next one has a sapphic love story that spans several different realities. In What World is a speculative romance that follows main characters in their 30s that used to be high school rivals. Marlo Jenkins and Priscilla Cummington French are forced to reconnect as adults when their beloved former teacher disappears. Although they have always claimed to dislike each other, their complicated history includes a lot more attention than either of them wants to admit, probably due to the fact they might have kissed once or twice in the past. But when they discover their teacher has found a way to travel between alternate realities, the two women end up following him through different versions of the world, including realities where they surprisingly see different versions of themselves. And it turns out in some realities, they have a feeling very different than hate for each other. But as they work together to uncover the truth about their teacher, they begin to question what could be between them. But what even is reality at this point? I can't lie, this type of romance is normally not my cup of tea, but I'm sad for this one. And am I free August 11th, you ask? No. I'm busy actually. Now next up is For the Love of the Quest, which is a slow burn, opposites attract historical rom-com. So Lady Edith Darling is expected to live a quiet and proper life at her family's manor, but she has other plans. Determined to honor her grandmother's final wish, Edith sets off on a quest to find Excalibur, armed with Arthurian legends, pastries, and her grandmother's ashes. To survive the journey, she hires Thomasin Shaw, a feared criminal leader who sees Edith as an opportunity for a possible ransom. But as the two travel together through dangerous chambers, hidden puzzles, and legendary locations, Thomasin begins to see there is much more to Edith than she originally thought, and Edith is slowly falling too. But this is still a quest at the end of the day, and will finding Excalibur be enough for a happy ending? Next up, at number 10 on our list, is Fortune's Wake, a dark fantasy novel. Kova left her island village behind, along with her mother and the woman she loved, hoping to make a name for herself as a monster hunter. The plan was simple: get the girl, make some money, and kill the beast. But things don't exactly go according to plan. Instead, she returns home only to discover that her mother has disappeared, the woman she left behind has moved on, and terrifying sea monsters have begun attacking their village. Now Kova is forced to work alongside the legendary monster hunter Sayer Bourbain to uncover what's happening before more people disappear. But as the attacks grow worse, she'll have to confront not only the monsters threatening her home, but also the choices she made when she left it behind. This one sounds stressful, so someone please read it and tell me what happens. Next up is To Love the Stars Too Fondly, which is an enemies to lovers romance that deals with some heavy topics, and the author makes it clear that this is not a rom-com. So 5 years ago, Tara Stern watched the love of her life die. She still remembers the cold concrete, yelling, and the sound of a gunshot, and since then she has struggled to move forward while carrying the weight of that trauma. Now she spends her days working at a coffee shop where she constantly clashes with Alex Winthrop, an attractive Harris, but one day everything changes because Alex steps in to protect Tara from a stalker, and something shifts between them because for the first time in years, Tara feels safe with someone again. And what starts as a stormy night in quickly leads to more. But Alex has her own secrets and struggles as well, and Tara's on a path of self-destruction, so who knows how love will play out in this one. But this next book definitely wins a prize for longest title. The Divine Gardener's Handbook, or What to Do If Your Girlfriend Accidentally Turns Off the Sun, is a dystopian fantasy, although some are calling it a science fantasy with some romance as well. The story follows Cyprin, who has spent her entire life trying to earn earn a place in the Divine Gardens, a position that seems nearly impossible to achieve. All she has to do is win the annual flower pageant. But of course, her biggest rival named Purcell, a brilliant head gardener who Cyprin cannot stand and cannot stop thinking about, is in her way. But when Cyprin cheats her way into winning, she is thrown into a world of secrets, strange plants, and a mysterious god who is not quite what anyone expected. As rebellion begins spreading through the city, Cyprin and Purcell find themselves forced to work together, even as their rivalry turns into something much more complicated. If you like your fantasy books unhinged with botanical sabotage, doors that hold wonders behind them, and sentient plants, then pick this one up. Moving on to a book being described as great for fans of K-pop Demon Hunters and Winx Club, we have Dragonfly Dynasty, Whispers of the Water, a romantasy novel. Lorelei is the strongest dragonfly spray in her hive and believes she is destined to become the next matriarch. She has dedicated herself completely to becoming the best warrior she can be, even if that means keeping everyone at a distance, even though she knows deep down her heart wants something more. Being chosen to investigate a missing dragonfly in the dangerous monster-filled Shadowlands was to be expected, but what wasn't was having to do so alongside a newer dragonfly named Misty, and so it begins. Next, at number 14, is a book featuring a love story between a soft mask and a femme, with love on the main stage. This romance has a bit of everything: a bi-awakening, a second chance at love, an age gap, and love tested by the biggest stage possible, literally. So Mary Jensen never planned to return to the spotlight after spending her childhood as a pop star controlled by the industry. Instead, she rebuilt her life writing songs for other artists. But when her indie band qualifies for one of Europe's biggest music competitions, she suddenly finds herself center stage once again. The person she doesn't expect to see there is Princess Elizabeth of Norway, who's hosting the competition, and just so happens to be the woman from a night years ago that inspired the music Mary performs today. Their connection is still there, but Mary knows falling for someone who isn't publicly out comes with risk, and Elizabeth is scared that the world just might not be ready to accept a bisexual princess. And finally, we're ending the list with a graphic novel that is a perfect mix of emotional and empowering. Beware Her Fury is a graphic novel that follows the story of Clemence, a tattoo artist whose life looks good from the outside. Well, it is good. She has close friends, a new relationship, and a career she loves, but she's still working through the trauma of surviving sexual assault. And as she begins confronting catcallers who harass young women on the streets of Montreal, her therapist encourages her to join a support group with other survivors. Through these connections, Clemence begins learning that healing is not the same thing as simply moving on. The story ultimately asks whether Clemence's anger will consume her or whether the community she finds can help her heal. And it's a reminder of how powerful queer joy can be. That's all the books for today, but I'll be making another video next month with more new releases. Until then, happy reading.